Well, hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Red Raider Coaches Show. This is week 8. Flying by. I say that every week. The whole semester's flying by. It's like we was doing homecoming a month ago now, almost. Getting prepared for that big week. And each week's a big week in this region. And we're going to see, as we kind of dissect last week's loss to Jeff Davis. And then this week we're headed into Worth County. It just doesn't quit, doesn't stop in this region. And the first thing I want to do, though, is I always want to audibly, verbally thank the church that feeds our team the game day meal. And then that day, or last Friday, was Old Pine Grove Church. We want to thank those individuals. Sometimes they physically bring a meal. Other times it's just a donation and a meal is purchased or paid for. But either way, we want to thank them for being a part of Raider Nation, being a part of the Red Raider Touchdown Club by, again, supporting these boys and getting them fed on game day, as well as the coaches. I know they enjoy it as much as the boys do as well, so I want to get that out of the way. All right, so Jeff Davis last week came into town, so I talked to Coach the week before. I'm not sure if he still completely understands the rivalry that brings to the table, bordering counties. It was 2004. We actually played them for a baseball state championship. That was very unique. We won, by the way. But it goes way back. It's generations. And so it was a big game Friday night. I was very pleased with the crowd on both sides of the ball. A lot of energy was what we expected. And Red Raiders come out bouncing around. I mean, I thought we played very well that first couple quarters, and when we was right there, ended to win it. It didn't. The result didn't end like we wanted, but the third and fourth quarter, but some things didn't go our way, and I know personally, there's very few ball games that the referees will determine necessarily the outcome of the game. But I felt like there was some calls that definitely changed the momentum of the game in certain situations. But I'm gonna hush and kind of let you guys kind of talk from your standpoint on your perspective of the kids that you coached. And I kind of call it the good, the bad, and the ugly. Maybe I should just say good and bad versus the ugly. But yeah, Moses, tell us a little bit about your perspective on preparation going into that game, and then what you saw on Friday night.
I think we had a decent week of preparation for practice and whatnot. We knew what was coming. Jeff Davis, one of those teams that's going to run the ball, try to run the ball down your throat, and they're not going to change their game plan at all. They stick to what they do.
Especially when the game's close or they're leading.
Yes,
Did they throw the ball at all?
No.
They didn't attempt a single pass.
They're very patient with their game plan, and all they're looking for is just that one big play, and we let a couple of those plays hit every now and then. But for the most part, I think our guys did a great job of rallying to the ball, trying to stop the plays in the backfield. They got a couple of inches there, here and there. It's just all about the nickel down for them. Getting here and there, but overall defensively, I think we had some pretty good plays that we made. Just had to start the big play once or twice, and it would have changed the outcome of the game.
Right. And that's that 3 or 4 yards in a cloud of dust, and then popping one. And they got the personnel for it. They had a big physical line, which I actually thought we stood the test most of the game. That was my biggest concern. Because Jeff Davis is so proficient, typically at that style of offense, and they sort of, I wouldn't say perfected it, but they're getting better at, with that coach's mentality. They got a quarterback that runs it pretty good, and almost like a triple option sometimes, where he would fake it twice and pitch it outside. So it's tough. We talked the week before about staying disciplined in that style of offense. You got to man your gap and not get caught up in that eye candy, because next thing you know, they're behind you and you can't catch them, kind of thing. That was, and like you said, it was just a few inches. When you're playing a team that runs the ball and you get a third and short, you got to keep them in third and long. Because 9 times out of 10, depending on where they're on the field, it's 4-down territory for that style of offense. So it's a frustrating type of offense if you don't keep them behind the sticks. And it was back in 2. So from the offensive standpoint, again, I thought our offensive line matched up pretty well with them, and we done some good things in the first half. So talk a little bit about that.
Going into the week, I told the guys that they're a good football team, good up front. They got a D1 linebacker, number 10. I think he's committed to USF or UCF.
UCF,
one of the Florida schools.
South Florida school.
Yeah, so they're physical and they're going to get after it. My message to my guys, play with bad intentions every play. Move the ball like you said, 3 and 4 yards in a cloud of dust. Let's get 3 or 4 yards every play. And then coming out, we were on fire. We looked good.
Yeah.
The second half just falls on me and Coach O'Brien. You're gonna call better plays. Got to put our guys in better spots. So we're gonna get that fixed. We're gonna game plan better. We're gonna figure out ways to put our guys in spots to succeed. But I was proud of how our guys competed. Even when our backs were against the wall. My message to my guys and to the whole offense. Play until that final whistle.
That's right.
It doesn't matter if we're down 100-0. Play until that final. Go out and compete until the final whistle. And I feel like we did that. Where there's some things that went against us. Yes, it's going to happen every game, and it happens on both sides.
Right.
Happens to both teams. But I'll preach next play mentality, and that's not just when you have a bad play. It's whenever you feel like something don't go your way.
Yeah.
Whether it be a call, or whether you drop a pass, or whether you fumble the ball, whatever it is,
right.
It doesn't matter. That next play mentality. Okay, we had a bad call. I feel like it was a bad call. Next play mentality. Okay, we got O-line missed a block. Next play mentality. I'm gonna win this next rep. And we've come a long way since the first day of summer with that next play mentality. I was just proud of how our guys competed. It was a good football team that we win against and ultimately lost.
Right.
You regroup and you go back to work. You find ways to get better. You put us as a coaching staff. We put guys in a better place to succeed. And we've had a good week this week, and we're looking forward to getting back out there and competing again.
Yeah. And you said it a while ago and I appreciate that. And when a coach talks about we've got to do a better job of scheming and planning and putting our guys in a better position, but you're hoping our kids will execute as well. There's some plays out there I'm sure we just didn't execute very well. That if they had big play or enough yardage to get a first down or to do certain things, and again, you're dealing with 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids in an emotional setting. I admit it. Whether it's a rivalry game or not, football is an extremely emotional sport. And like you said, I think we've come a long ways with that mentality, that next play, and you talked about that one of the early shows. And that's so important. That's a life lesson because things aren't going to go your way in life. And if you just blow up and lose your mind, it's only going to make things worse, either on yourself or those that are around you in the situation. And what he's talking about, there was a few, I'll say a few calls. And I'm rarely, I don't try to be super critical with umpires or referees. It's like I always say, there's not one play that determines the outcome of a game. Now, one play may end a game, but that play did not determine the outcome. There's multiple things that go on. And there was some calls that definitely changed the momentum of the game. The timing of some of the flags, they were a little bit late maybe. I don't quite understand that, where, a certain referee on the field probably should have thrown the flag for whatever reason he didn't, and then somebody comes in behind him and does it. That's a little frustrating. But again, it's a mindset. That next play, and I love that how you word that, the next play mentality, because that's just the truth. And whether it's on offense or defense, because I did see a little frustration the other night. And again, it's a very physical, very emotional game from some of our kids. Nothing horrible, but just you just see the frustration. It's that time of the year as well, where we the second half. Boy, I was very encouraged. The defense come out and we got a couple stops. Because I already said they were getting the ball you know, at kickoff, the second half. If they had gone down and scored, man, that would have been real tough. You know, we stopped them. I mean, was that the turnover? Can't remember. They either punted or it was a punt, turnover, punt, something. We got the ball back 3 times and again, was unable to capitalize on that for whatever reasons. And then the game just, you know, extended out and then again, just, you know, wasn't able to get the win. But I thought we were very capable. I'm still hopeful, very optimistic about this team. But if we just, you know, just got to put it together, and can keep moving forward. And I had a brief conversation with the guys before we started the show, and you know, it's kind of this time of the year where, you know, I don't know how to word it other than, you know, it's how do you not get complacent? How do you keep looking forward? What I got us on the conversation was, this is only the second, you know, scenario where Bacon County that I know of has been under the power rankings. All in the past, you have to be in the top 4 of your region to qualify for the state playoffs. But these last few years, you know, it's all about those power rankings and who you play, who they play, and all the records, all the points, and all that stuff added up to where you can be 5th, 6th, or 7th potentially in this region and still make the playoffs like we did last year, and like we will hopefully and most likely this year as well. Keep the kids, you know, what does it take to, you know, maybe to keep them to understand that we've still got something to play for and work for, even though we take a tough loss there. We hadn't talked about Worth County. That's coming up this week. Another a number 1 team in the state that's in our region, and that kind of thing, and to keep them focused on the goal, and that is to make the playoffs and win a playoff game. So, you know, what do you kind of do to maybe combat that? Not that you see it, but it's got to be there. You know, basketball season's coming around, and that's on the back of some of our top athletes' mind as well. That to where they just like, well, football, you know, our record's not that good. You know, it ain't gonna matter, blah blah blah. But just trying to keep them focused.
Right. Well, at the beginning of the season, you know, when Coach Staff first got the job, and one of the most important things he talked about is every game is like an SEC game for us. Every game matters, whether win, lose, or draw. Every single thing matters all the way until the end of the season. You know, we can easily upset anybody, right? We can lose any game, and it determines where we are in the power rankings. But every single game matters because of the power rankings.
That's right.
Right. So whether we sit up closer towards the, you know, top, or whether we sit closer towards the bottom, we always have a chance to be able to go into a playoff game. So we just hit every week like it's a business, right? Hit every week like it's an SEC schedule. Making sure our guys are focused and working hard, giving full tip at practice. You know, you practice how you play. So, you know, we just trying to drive in that mentality. Hey, you got to go full speed here every single day. You got to work hard every single day. You work hard and you reap the results for it. If you don't work hard, you know, you leave a lot left on the table. And we got some athletic guys. We got some guys that can go out there and compete. As long as we can keep that mentality, all right, we play a hard SEC schedule, whether it's from the beginning of the season all the way into the region. Every single game matters. And we just got to go out there and give it all 110%.
I think too, our guys are, when I say this, I'm probably going to have to explain what I mean. Our guys are where their feet are. And what I mean by that is football season. So our guys love to compete no matter what it is. And that's the beauty of being where we are in Bacon County. Our guys just love to compete. Or whether they're playing, you know, it's football season. Some of our guys play basketball. When it's basketball season, they love to compete in that. When it's baseball season, they love to compete in baseball. So our guys love to compete where their feet are. So it's really not, you know, keeping them focused on, you know, football. You know, I told my guys on Monday after the game, I said, everything we want to accomplish is still in front of us. I mean, everything we want to accomplish. And, you know, we're sitting right now 4-3. It's not terrible, not a terrible record. You know, we still got 3 quality opponents in front of us. And still got 3 quality region opponents. And let's go out, compete. You know, the ball's in our court. You know, we control our own destiny, so to speak, what people like to say. So as far as getting them, motivated and looking forward to, the playoffs or another sport, our guys, they like to compete. And anytime, that there's a football game, our guys are going to be ready to go. And our guys are ready to go this week, and they'll be ready to go next week and the week after. And that's the beauty of, Bacon County football and the culture we got here that compete again.
Well, dude, that's what we want to hear. That's why this staff is in place. And y'all been talking about that all season long. That wasn't a trying to gotcha question right there. It's just some good, healthy discussion about it, because it's the truth. When it's a long season, and you sometimes you do the things like you said last week. Had a good week of practice, and you do the things and you prepare, and it just don't go your way, and you got to keep fighting and keep preparing. So again, it's just as much like you guys are. The expectation stays the same every day, and you just tell me you had had a really good practice this week, one of the best you think you've had all season. Man, that's what you want to hear over halfway through the season. We're relatively healthy. That's always a plus at key positions. Heading into another big week, another SEC type schedule week. Worth County #1, at least in the Max Preps rankings. The power rankings, they may not be #1 just because of something else, but maybe one of those other schools played a little bit bigger school or something to that effect. But they're running on all cylinders. Had a big comeback win against Thomasville a couple weeks ago. That kind of lit a fire. We saw maybe because of that comeback loss, I think Thomasville probably struggled last week. Maybe, I don't know. I didn't watch the film. Maybe, I'm sure y'all have looked at it a little bit. Fitzgerald upset Thomasville. Low scoring game compared to what Thomasville's used to doing. So anything can happen any week, like you said, as long as we're prepared to go into it. But we're going over to Sylvester. I'm not sure. I have to ask my historian. I didn't ask him before the show. He'll watch this and let me know if Bacon County has ever played at Sylvester. But we're going there Friday night, and we want you to make the trip. Stop in Tipton, get you a nice meal before you go. They got some good grub through there, and support this Red Raider team. But I guess for most people, the first thing I think about with Worth, the County Rams, is their quarterback. Just a junior last year. He was a sophomore, and I'll just be honest. I think I may have said it. I know I did on the broadcast. But he spun the ball as good as I've ever seen a high school quarterback in person. Now, I've seen a lot of games online or on the television during the playoffs and at the Georgia Dome. But man, he could really throw that ball. And a couple of dudes that could catch it too, and that always helps. But we know that he is going to be a factor, without a doubt. But they're obviously doing some good things elsewhere as well. I think they've been able to run the ball as well. Typically, if you can pass, you can run, and vice versa. But also the defense has stepped up, I think, this year as well. I tuned in and watched a little bit of that game. They really should have won that game in regulation against Thomasville. They missed the extra point. It stayed tied. They went to the first overtime. But they got some good-looking kids too. I mean, there's 2 or 3 big old guys, linebackers, defensive linemen, at least on the defensive side of the ball that I was able to see. But what can we? I kind of sound like old Spurrier or old Lou Holtz. So there's no way we can beat. There's absolutely no way we can beat this team. So what's it going to take to go into Worth County and give them all they want and maybe come out with a crazy win?
Well, like you said, they like to spread the ball around. The quarterback's really, really nice, man. He's a good quarterback. He always keep his eyes open, keep his eyes downfield. He has a good arm to be able to get that ball to his receivers. We want to be able to create some pressure, get down there in the backfield, hopefully get a couple hits on him, get a couple sacks on him, try to get him a little bit uncomfortable in that in the pocket, in his pocket presence, so we can have him second guess some of his decision making. Maybe we can catch a pick or two off of him. But he's a good quarterback. I would love to see that, but he's a good quarterback. Also up front, we want to be aggressive on that run game, because don't get me wrong, their running back's really nice as well. They got athletes all around. Their offensive line, they're pretty sturdy. But we want to create some pressure, get in the backfield, make a couple plays, make a couple plays on the back end with our defensive backs, with our athletes, because we got athletes as well.
That's right.
We just want to go out there and compete, give it all we got, 110%, do the best we can, don't leave nothing on the field.
Coach?
Oh, defensively, really good. I don't think I have to say that, but they're really good. They got two edge guys that's probably going to be playing on Saturdays in the future. Really good, number 6 and number 0. They got some guys in the middle, number 52, really good. Really good up front, really athletic. And I know I think I say this every time I'm on the coach's show. Anytime you have a defensive line or front 7 that's big and athletic, they can cause chaos. The message this week has just been, how do you respond to adversity? How do you respond when things don't go your way? Next play mentality, I say it all the time. Let's go out and compete, have fun. Do what we do. And if we play Bacon County football, play it the right way, play the way we're supposed to play, and compete with anybody. You can go win a lot of games. I'm excited to get back to on the field and compete. But offensively, we just want to go in. We want to establish the run game. So establish the run game lets you do anything you want to do on offense. Lets you dictate some stuff. Got to get the running game going. Let's get them, moving side to side, some up-tempo stuff. But it's going to be a tough game. They're a really good football team on both sides. A lot of times you see Worth throwing the ball around, scoring points. But their defense, I think the first 3 games they pitched a shutout.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough for us. Their secondary is as athletic as their front 7. They've got some tall, long kids that can make plays on the football. Go in, have fun, compete, do what we do, and let's just see what happens.
It's a turf field.
Yes,
We're
turf.
going into probably besides Appleton last year, I guess,
Yeah.
probably the only turf field we played.
Played Thomasville last year.
Oh, yeah, Thomasville in the playoffs last year. As far as this year, is there any adjustments that you have to make so much for that? I don't. Is it a little different cleats you have to wear? Is it a turf shoe you have to wear, or do you wear normal?
I know some guys you can get away with turf, but as far as you can get away with the cleats we wear.
Cleats we wear.
Yeah, it just doesn't give turf doesn't give as much as that grass out there will. So I know a lot of you hear the hot topic of you see college NFL teams injuries.
Yeah.
There's a lot more injuries on turf
Because it catches.
Yeah, because it's a little more. It doesn't give as easy.
Now, does it make guys a little quicker or seem faster because of that, maybe, or is there that big a difference?
I haven't really noticed much of the difference with that.
I feel a little faster.
A little faster.
But I'm a slow guy. So.
But it'll be interesting. I'm excited. I'm the eternal optimistic. I really believe we've got a good staff and we've got some talented players, some athletic and talented players. And most people, including me, I'm guilty. You look at the athletes, the receivers, the quarterbacks, the running backs, and even from a defensive, maybe even the DBs. But we got some guys up front that have done a tremendous job this year. And I remember, that was a real concern last week about just, sometimes you get in football or any other sport, sometimes you just get whipped and there ain't nothing you can do about it. You get pushed around, particularly, on the offensive defensive line. But I thought our guys held their own and played really well against that offense that we were up against last week. And I expect them to step up and continue, like you said, to compete this week. And who knows, if get a little pressure, you get Theron on the outside and Jalen coming the other way and getting this guy's face, and then we got plenty of dudes in the back that can pick that ball off and take it to the house. So anything can happen, and that's what I'm hoping for is you shock the state Friday night, and then continue this trek toward to a playoff berth, which is what we are playing for, what we anticipate. But you said we got two really quality opponents. Brantley, no disrespect, but they've struggled this year. But records don't mean anything when it comes down to the last game of the season. And we'll be over there. It's going to be probably cold weather. And man, a team like that, you back them into a corner, you got to be prepared for them. And so we got to be prepared these next 3 games to finish strong in our region play. Again, for the points, to give us an opportunity to get in the playoffs. And we still, help me out if I'm wrong, we still have a chance. We win 2 out of the next 3. It's a possibility to host a game. Possible. It could put us in that. We want to be in the top 16 of that power ranking. I think we're hovering around the 22, 20, 21, 22 right now. So 2 out of the next 3. 3 out of the next 3 will definitely put us there. 2 out of the next 3, gets us potentially a home matchup. And then, I don't even think about anything else. So, we like you said earlier, we got everything still ahead of us. And hopefully the boys will understand that, comprehend that, and stay focused on that, so that we can turn that corner. We can get over that hump and put Bacon County Red Raider football, put us where our culture is. Put us where, not, I want to say what we deserve, but what we earn because of the work that these kids have put in, and these coaches in this program. So I know it's a little bit longer drive, probably the longest one we've had. Yeah, you're thinking, oh, it's the number 1 team in the state. They're averaging 50-some points a game, la, la, la. I'm just saying, wouldn't you rather be there in person if something crazy happens? If we go in there and take this from Worth. We want you to feel those stands. It's going to be a nice venue. They got a beautiful field. Like I said, the turf, brand new this year for them. And make the drive. If you can't make it, as far as I know, we're going to be broadcasting live, so that you can watch it from home if you can't be there. But I always encourage you to come in person to support the football team. The band's going. They're not going to be performing at halftime. I think it's homecoming for Worth County. But cheerleaders, a lot goes into to this Raider Nation, and again, we want you to be a part of it. So come and join us in Sylvester, Georgia on Friday night. I want to thank these 2 guys for joining me this morning, and being a part of this edition of the Red Raider Coaches Show. So again, any last words, guys?
That's it.
Go Raiders.
Go Raiders.
We'll see y'all next week on the next edition of the Red Raider Coaches Show.